Hi, thanks for tuning in to Turn to the Stars. My name is Andrea Klim, and I'm an astrological counselor and a core shamanic practitioner from the local area. And I just want to say thanks for tuning in today. We have a really great show here, and I have a guest today, and that is Jay Harris from Derry, New Hampshire. Welcome, Jay.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, I'm so glad Jay made it. We had a tough start this morning, but we did make it, so that's good, you know. Jay is here to tell you about his the business that he has, which is something that he has created, and it's called Pyramid Creations, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. And Jay is the owner, creator, artist of Pyramid Creations, and also a crystal healing therapist. And so I'm very pleased to have him here. We've been talking about doing this show for a while.
Yay.
Yeah. And it is so perfect, though, the timing, because as you can see, Jay has a lot of beautiful pyramid creations. And I'm just so happy he's here because, as you've been hearing on the shows that I've done the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about the changes that we're all experiencing, and we certainly all can use that positive influence and healing energy of the crystals. And Jay, what is Pyramid Creations, and how did you get started?
Well, there's a little bit of a story behind how it got started. My next-door neighbor, Nick Delicava, who you know, sent angels to me for a week, and I never heard of that or anything, but I set up the little altar, and I said the prayer, and I left them an apple and white flowers, and nothing happened the first night, but the second night, they definitely came. I could feel them. I'm a sensitive. I can feel spirits, and they were definitely in my living room and sitting in my chair and on my couch, and they were kind of funny because my cat kept looking at the ceiling, and they always talk about how angels are really tall. Yes. So, you know, I was kind of said, okay, you're here, and, you know, thank you for coming. And then they proceeded to come. They stayed for the whole week, but during the daytime, they would go in the basement. And I didn't understand for the life of me why they were going in the basement. But later on, as the story goes, that's where I make my pyramids. And I have a whole workshop where I create all my beautiful crystal pyramids. And the other part of the story is how I got started was my acupuncturist, Sarah Joy, Roberts, who you know. Mm-hmm. She asked me to make some Orgonite, and I said, what the heck is Orgonite? So I looked, she said, Google it, and I Googled it, and I said, oh, I can do that. So my first Orgonite creations were from an onion Rubbermaid container. That's the hard part, is finding things to make your molds out of and how to create these pieces. Yeah. So that's how I get started. I made some, and she liked them so much, she let me set up a display in her acupuncture care center in Londonderry. Yeah. So I have the privilege of leaving a lot of my stuff there, and so people like to touch and feel these things. Yes. Mm-hmm. They like to feel the energy before they buy them. Usually, you know, a lot of people that are sensitive to this stuff like to touch them and, you know, feel the positive energy that they emit. But that's how basically I got started, and then I read the book on by Drunvalo Melchizedek or Melchizedek. I'm not sure
Melchizedek,
how. Melchizedek. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And it was about sacred geometry and the pyramids, and something clicked in my head. Why don't you make Orgonite pyramids? Yeah. So that's basically what happened. There's been some other magical things along the way, but that's the gist of how I got started. Yeah.
So, well, that is a great story, and so you were inspired by, you know, people's requests, you know, upon requests, and I just want to let you know I have one of Jay's, lucky to have one of his pyramids in my office, and when I go in my office to do readings or healing sessions, I turn on my pyramid, I turn on my dolphin lamp and my amethyst lamp. So I mean, it's kind of like I'm turning on, okay, it's time to work with spirit, and it's time to serve in the way that we do. Right. And it's certainly, they're very beautiful. But, you know, overall I say, you know, to myself, what's the Orgonite, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot of people are still some people are afraid of it. What it is it was invented by William Reich, an Australian scientist who worked for he was one of Hitler's scientists during the heyday of Hitler, and when the war was over, well, we brought him over here with like von Braun and everything, and basically he discovered that when you take a quartz crystal and you put copper in it, and when the resin dries, it compresses the quartz crystal and it attracts positive energy. So it's a scientific fact that they actually do emit electromagnetic field, a positive energy. I have an EMF meter that I show people when I'm at my shows that I can hold up, and I do a base rating, which is usually a 2. And then I hold it over the top, and they actually pulse every 3 to 4 seconds, sometimes up to a 0.19. I've seen them go as high as a 2.4. So it depends on the size of the crystal, and I think how much metal you have in it.
Yep.
You see a lot of people make the homegrown ones in cupcake molds and stuff. They use them for chemtrail busters because the planes that are spraying the chemtrails, it's supposed to clean the air, any air pollution. So with that positive EMF field.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do it for that reason.
Yeah.
But I had to experiment with a lot of different resins till I really got the right combination. I had some pieces blowing up, and the resin was really stinky, or it took me a while to find a stable, enough resin that I could work with.
Yeah. Well, that the question that comes to mind is for anybody who doesn't know about EMFs, you're measuring the level of energy that is emitted.
Right.
Or in the atmosphere, is that right?
Yeah, it's called the electromagnetic field. That's what EMF means.
Right, like ghost hunters use
those
to
use it. I have the same.
Energy.
Yes, I have the same exact meter they use that they walk around and they can detect. And it does detect negative EMFs. So it's kind of funny. I was testing it out because they say your refrigerator has the most negative EMF energy in your house. So a lot of people put these on top of their refrigerators to get rid of that negative EMF, because it can make you imagine things. It can make you, that negative energy isn't good. So it's, a good idea. I even put one of these on my meter outside, the electric meter outside, and the electric guy the meter reader keeps taking it off and putting it on the wall. I keep putting it on, but it's the lowest electric bill we've had in years. So
oh really?
Yeah, I think it's actually doing something to it.
Well,
but I have lots of testimonies now. People are activating their pieces. So I'm gonna, on our webpage, where pretty soon we'll have a testimony page coming up. We're getting responses from people whose loved ones have tried to commit suicide. Two different people have bought pyramids for their sons, and their sons take the pyramid with them everywhere, and they started getting interested in crystals. So obviously it does positive things. Knock on wood, I haven't had a cold or the flu. I always get the cold and the flu. It doesn't matter what. Somebody looks at me and I get it. And for 2 years now, since I started doing it 2.5 years ago, I started this. And, I've been very healthy from it.
Yeah, well, that you can never, I know, it's certainly easy to get, there's so much negativity around us, and so important for us to, during this time that we're all going through such change, to do what we can about what we can, and to bring in that positivity, bring in whatever positivity we can, as we're all working on that solar plexus area of change, and which is where our power center in our body. So I think it's if you can do whatever you can to stimulate positivity and positive environment, and support that, I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, these are healing tools, and I want people to. I gift a lot of them away to people that really can't afford it. And I gift them because they say one pyramid can heal up to 120 people. Wow. That's what I've been told. I don't know if there's any proof of that, but that's what I've been told. But I get a really positive response from a lot of people.
You know what thought just came to my mind, Jay, is that if you bring positivity, or like you've got a dark room and you bring light into a dark room, it pushes out all the darkness.
Exactly.
So I know in my office, I love the energy of it. I've got it right on my desk, and Jay's told me to to bring it into my bedroom and put it at the bottom of my bed because I'm healing from an injury. So I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah, you really got to try it. But if it's too much for you, like I said, move it away. Sometimes there's so much energy. People, if they're sensitive to it, you have to move it away a little bit. I mean, I've had people tell me they can't put it in the room with them.
Right.
But then they said they gradually get used to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's like they've been the new fad is the Andrea stones or the Andrea crystals, and I started incorporating a few of those in some of my pyramids, and those are those. They look like glass. They're a singular. They're all one color. I forget the technical name for that. I just started getting into them.
Yeah.
And working with those, but like you said, the main thing right now too is working with your sacral chakra, the fear chakra. That's where all that is, and you just have to get rid of that third dimensional.
Exactly. Yep.
We need to move forward, and it's really funny. Even in my own life, it's like anybody that's still stuck in the third dimension, I don't want to be with them or associate with them anymore because they're stuck in that rut and they just can't seem to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I try to help and share what I know, and they just look at me sideways. So I plant the seed. That's all. And if they don't want it, that's all you can do. Yep. But it's right. We need to send our green energy from our heart chakra and send them the green light, send them your heart, really send them your love, really feel that love in your heart, and you can project that to them.
Yes.
And I try to teach that at a lot of the shows. I'm not just there to sell my pyramids. I'm there to help people who genuinely want to help people, no matter what I can do, and even if it's they tell me about their problems, that's fine because they're meant to come to me.
Yep.
So, that's what I enjoy the best. Meeting the nice people like you and all the other fantastic people you meet at these holistic healing shows is incredible. I mean, and the energy they bring.
Yeah.
A lot of times we do a prayer circle in the beginning, and the energy that just flows through the circle is just amazing. It's better than any church I've ever been to. I mean, it is. It really is. It's a genuine feeling of love.
Yeah.
And you don't get that in a lot of places. In this day and age, everybody's about me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean, we touched on that a little bit. I don't want to get sidetracked.
Yeah.
here,
No, it's true. It's very true. We really. It's important to envelop that positivity and the power of positivity, the power of love, and that is all about what's happening right now. We're awakening ourselves, but the fear can hold us back.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever we can do to stimulate that positivity or that power of spirit or healing is really important. And ultimately, I look at your pyramids, Jay, and could you tell us tell us about a couple of them there,
Sure.
just so people know what they're looking at?
Sure. I mean, I have and when I first started, like I said, I was just making spheres and basically orbs because I couldn't find any molds to pour the resin in to make my shapes. So I started creating my own and making my own rubber molds it's a silicone RTV A and B solution. I'd carve a piece of clay perfect and then I'd pour the rubber over it or whatever I had to do to get where I got to, and then I actually found some molds at Amazon.com. So some and but this I went from the pyramid, this pyramid here, like this shape, the actual 52 degrees. This one has rainbow fluorite in the top. And I have sacred geometry pieces that I put inside that I made from another rubber mold. But this has a square within a square, a cube within a cube. I'm trying to teach people about the fourth dimension, that there is another dimension that we're moving into. And I try to educate people on that too. And the fluoride helps keep you focused on tasks at hand, important jobs that you need to get done. That's what fluorite really helps you concentrate on that. So what I did is I took it a step further than just having quartz. I put other crystals and healing tools inside some of the pieces. Like this one has hematite in it.
Yep, I can see it.
You know, which is, you know, I would say each one I create, and afterwards I look to see what I put in it, and I catalog it, and that way it's like a prescription. I call it a written prescription.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that I'm being channeled. I believe it's Raphael. I've been told it was Raphael, the Archangel Raphael, who was the healer. Yep. And this woman told me to say, when I'm creating my pieces, to say I am Raphael. And when I do, I can feel him. I feel him over behind me. And he was just here a couple of seconds ago, but I could actually feel his presence. Yeah. And he doesn't stay long. He just lets me know that he's there. And then, you know, I start with like one piece. I have all my molds in a row, and then I just start creating, and then something will say, put that rock in, or put that rock in, and I just do it. Yeah. So I went from the regular pyramid to the tetrahedron to the octahedron. I didn't bring an octahedron, and then I was driven to do the Merkaba star, which is 2 tetrahedrons together. So what I did is I created a solid one that I carved out of clay. It took me 3 days, and then I took it out of the rubber mold, and then I figured out the exact size I needed to make for each piece, and then I glued each piece on. So it was a little bit hard for me to figure out at first, because I'm not, you know, much of a mathematician, but I actually believe I was guided to create the Merkaba star.
It's very beautiful.
Which means chariot. It means it carries your soul, and it's believed, the Egyptians believe that there's each one of us, male and female, has 2 Merkabas. That we have one Merkaba, but 2 tetrahedrons spinning. The male and female spins one way, and the male spins the other way, which is really interesting. And Dranvallo explains that in his book. I was just amazed at that book. It took me a whole summer to read it, but you know, it was just it was that deep. Yeah. But that's what drove me. It took me like a good 3 months to figure this out. Yeah. So, and then the other ones is just another 4-sided that I found that had the 45 degree on the corner. Yeah, I can which see. Some of the pyramids have. But this one here's got a story behind it. This is the actual shape. They believe this is the actual shape of the Great Pyramid, where the top of it is missing. They know where it is, but this is what it actually looks like. It has the 45 degrees on each side with the 45 on the bottom. So this is what they believe the top of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza looks, the top that belongs, which is really funny. I didn't know that till I made that piece before I even knew that information. So
for somebody who's coming to you and saying that, you know, I'm really drawn to have one of these, and they tell you what they, they might have a certain reason. Yes. For instance, what would that one be for?
Well, that one, that has a really, really big quartz crystal, and the quartz crystal is the master healer. It heals all your chakras. Yeah. All the colors of the rainbow are in every quartz crystal. Yeah. And that's the master healer. So, I mean, you know, if somebody had some real dark energy in their house, or a bad spirit, I'd recommend a piece like that. And, you know, if they, you know, like I said, if they had a lot of negativity, or a person in their family that was negative, they could just take it, put it on the windowsill. They wouldn't even know the difference. You know what I mean? There's some people that have done that have told me, you know, their father was real grumpy and whatever. So I had one lady say her husband was really depressed. So I put lithium crystals in the pyramid for her, and the lithium, it's made of the same. It's the drug that they grind up that quartz crystal and make medicine out of it. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it really does work, because she told me her husband's like a new person now. Wow, wow. So I even keep lithium with me, because it helps with that angst in your sacral. It keeps me calm, very calm. And I actually use it when I sleep at night. I put it on my headboard, and the problem is you don't want to wake up in the morning. You just want to keep
You're so
sleeping.
relaxed.
Yeah, it just knocks you out.
Yeah, well, for people who have mutable energy, that is, Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and
Virgo,
Pisces and Sagittarius tend to be more, kind of mutating all here and there, and nervous energy.
Yes,
it's a nervous energy, a worrying energy. So, I really feel like, I have mine in my office. Here's my desk, and I have it right here. And the lights just, you can see every part of the pyramid with the light underneath.
Yeah, I that was one of the things in the beginning. We went to the dollar store, and I think we bought every light they were. They were 50 cents a piece. So I was giving them away at first, but now these new ones with the newer LEDs, they cost a lot of money. They're like almost $5. So I can't give them away for free anymore, So I wish I could, but they definitely at night when you put them on your next to your bed, or anywhere on a windowsill, or I have lots on my kitchen table. I just push the buttons and I just like to watch them. There's something about it that really makes you soothing, peaceful.
Yeah.
I mean, even my cats lay all over them. I have to polish them all before I sell them, so that if somebody's allergic to the cats, so they don't have cat fur all over them. Well, but it's definitely been a wonderful experience. The past, I've made 367 pieces in 2.5 years.
Wow. So you must have, and I like the word you use, prescription.
Yeah.
Because, when I learned shamanic practice shamanism, my teacher always used that word prescription, because we're always looking for the answer, or how can we feel better? How can we resolve things? And certainly they're great conductors for positivity, which is a prescription in itself. So, Jay and his wife Cheryl will be at our September fair.
Yes.
I believe that, I don't know the exact date of that. That's on the website, but they will be at that fair with their pyramids, and it's always nice to see them, because the table is so beautiful with all the pyramids, and I would like to have one for every room in my house. So, at some point you can certainly feel the positive vibration and the energy that they emit. Can you tell me a little bit more about the copper coil, though?
Oh yeah. I was surfing the web one day, and I came across this man, Slim. It's not. Here I go again. I forgot this. Slim. I can't remember his name right at the moment. I'm sorry, but he was invented what he called the harmonizing coil, and he actually used it, created this piece that he actually used and tested in Colorado to clean the air pollution. And he wanted to clean the air in California and Los Angeles, and the governor wanted him to, and the mayor wanted him to, but then the United States Air Force stepped in and said he couldn't do it.
Oh.
So he has this globe that he activates, and it goes for I think he said up to 39 miles around, and it cleanses the air. It's this really cool looking deal. And then he makes what he calls the harmonizing coil. What's really funny, I was putting the coils around, again, I was doing it before I even looked at this website. So the coil, I believe, just adds more energy to the pyramid. I have all different, some of them are swirled, some of them are curled tight to the crystal, some of them, I try to make them look, so then more art, they're prettier.
Yeah. Is it a conductor of the energy of the crystal?
Yeah.
Is that
that's I would say that's how it works.
Yeah, because that's what
it's just an just a little added more energy. I mean, there's some people that can't even, they come up to my table, they can't even come near it. They're that sensitive. They have a headache instantly. So, I mean, they're obviously doing something that
is not in alignment with their with their
I think it's healing them, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
because a lot of times they're kind of negative, and then the ones that seem to get a headache right away, I think it's actually doing something.
It's pushing negativity out. Yeah.
So,
well, you know, it's funny. This morning I had on Steve Harvey, you know, on Channel 9 in the morning, and I always like when I get a chance to watch his show, because he talks about, you know, that the most growth that he's ever experienced in his life was through pain. You know, he grew the most through pain, and that you know, but there's only, you know, we don't have to, you know, if there's something negative that we're carrying and we don't even know it, you know, there hopefully that we're able to hear that message of how, or find that way to bring it to a more positive place. And he was saying that it's only through, you know, his connection with his spirit guide or his God creator. So I'm really happy you brought these here, Jay. We're getting close to the end of the show, and anything that we can do, or any knowledge that we can share with the world of how we can positively have and, you know, help others, is important. So Jay's website, you can see, is on the bottom of the screen, Pyramid Creations, pyramid-creations.com.
Yes, pyramid-creations.
Yeah. So pyramid-creations.
You can purchase stuff online. You can check it out. We pretty much have everything. Thank God my wife's a photographer. I got to give her credit. Yeah. She takes the pictures and puts them up there. So thank God.
She does. She does a nice job. It's very, very pretty. So Jay, I do want to say a great big thank you for coming here today.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm really glad that you came, and even through all those. It was a difficult time getting here today, but Jay made it. We made it, and everyone, thanks for watching Turn to the Stars, and we appreciate all your support. And until next week, take good care, and we'll see you then.